do. I do the school runs. I look after tutoring for my son. I do football. Sorts of things where we value time freedom so heavily, but yet want to create this business that has an impact at the end of it. So hopefully we'll be able to dig into a little bit of that today in our conversation, and we'll come up with some goodies for the listeners.
I do. And you know what I think is really interesting, that it's just really kind of resonated with me, is that everybody wants to make a profit in business, but it's not something that's really talked about in the open. That's why I think you're going to be really interesting for people today, because people do shy away from it, and they want to make the money. They love what they're doing, but they're coming away from the numbers. I know I've shied away from the numbers before, because you love what you're doing so much that you sometimes think that that's not, yes, it's important, but you just want to do what you're good at. And you know what you're good at, so you just keep going down that way. But you're right, there's so many new things that you can do that, like you said, are just small things. Some of them could be, and it's making a big, big impact, especially with the online world that we have now, because that's still quite new to a lot of different people. When you say that you're an online entrepreneur, people sometimes still need an explanation of what that is, given that what a bricks and mortar business was. How do you explain to people the similarities between bricks and mortar and the online world?
I think if I take it from a very pure level, given that profit is the subject here, they are fundamentally built on exactly the same premises. The same, as I call them, my profit levers, which doubtless we'll talk about a bit later on.
Yeah.
But there are three things that every business has which it can leverage, and they're the only three things that are ever going to make a difference to the bottom line in a business. It's exactly the same in brick and mortar as it is in the online world. The important thing to recognise is that everything falls under those three things. What we have to do is create strategy against the three things, and we then create tactics which are appropriate to the business or the business model of each. But the commonalities are there. All businesses have revenue. It doesn't matter if they're online or brick and mortar. All businesses have expenses. It doesn't matter if they're online or brick and mortar. The fundamental pieces that go into how a business makes its profit are exactly the same. One of the things I often say to people is if you go and pull a set of accounts from in the UK, you would get them from Companies House. The layout is the same, they look the same, but how people actually got to the point that those numbers are the numbers on the page, that's the really interesting bit. But they will all have fundamentally been down much the same path in terms of creating that profitable existence in the first place.
How do you think people can focus on their intention? Because they really want to get these wonderful businesses going, they're doing things. Well, how do you think that people can get their intention in the right direction?
I think actually it's probably no more than an extension of what people are doing already. You've been talking in your introduction here about planning out over a 52-week period, and how people break that down and extend beyond into 2, 3, 5, 10 years. People are taking things that what I would those big goals, and that's absolutely the place to start. I think it's then what comes underneath that layer become the executable things that allow you to actually make that transition happen, so that those goals are achieved. And I use top line. It's commonly termed phrase for sales or revenue as well. And I think that in the online space particularly, there is a huge amount of focus put on revenue. But there is also an underlying thing that actually concerns me quite a lot, which is the concept that revenue will result in profit. And that is not always the case. So that really, for me, is why I think it is important to plan, not only for the bigger goals, but to break things down, as you were talking about there, in weeks, months, quarters as well.
Yeah.
It's quite possible to be intentional about the profit that we choose to make. We just have to have a solid strategy, and we need the right tactical actions to make the most of that. So like most things, it's just about the focus and breaking things down.
No, and I think that's really good. Tell me how you feel about social media, given that this is such a big thing now, and this is where this is where I kind of met you. I know I met you face to face at an event, but it was an event that we were at because of social media and telling us that it was on, and we were there. We never would have heard about that in Canada and England if we hadn't been involved at that level, in social media. How has social media helped you with your business?
I think it is. It has helped me open my eyes to what is actually going on and the things that are possible. The idea that you can connect with people and yet still feel so connected, that core piece about connection and people and doing business with people still exists. All that has happened is we do still go to local networking events, but the ability to effectively network in a virtual capacity gives us tremendous reach in a way that never used to exist. And I think that the importance of making the effort to attend events, get to know people, connect online, all of those basic things about connection are still there. It's just about how we're able to expand our reach and our impact and get our message to a wider audience, because so many of us do have a message that translates. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Many of the principles are exactly the same. All of the things you were talking about earlier on, they work whether you're in Australia, the UK, Canada, Belgium, it doesn't matter. The fundamental principles and the message still resonate across the world. We just have a method now by which to make that impact.
And I think it's an amazing advantage that we have, because I've only been on social media for 2 years, and before that I couldn't really see, because I'm such a people person, I couldn't really see the influence of social media. It just seemed an extra thing, another thing to see to. All these strangers, like how are you going to get to know these strangers? Because I was so used to meeting people face to face, but I honestly, and now I love social media, the people that I've met from just connecting online, a lot of them I've actually met in real life now. And even if I never meet some of the online people in real life, I still feel as though I've made some great connections with people, really found people that have the same mindset as me, the same interests. And you're right, it's amazing. I didn't even think we could do that from such a distance and meet all of these different people. So the online space has become a very, very big place for entrepreneurs to be. Because I remember when I was younger, entrepreneurs, they were in an office or they were in a store.
I think the other big advantage that the entrepreneurial world has, and particularly those who are engaged in the online entrepreneurial space, is it means you can conduct business so quickly. You can bring things to market incredibly quickly. Technology obviously has its part to play in that. But the process of going from a thought or an idea or interacting with people and thinking, here's a market that I could serve, I have something that would serve these people. You can have that thing done, built, out, marketed in a very short space of time, which in traditional brick and mortar world inevitably tends to take longer. And I think it's a tremendous advantage that exists in the online space like that. And consequently, the ability for people to change, the results that they're able to achieve in their business really can turn around very quick.
No, it's good. Now, when I think about, making a profit, talk to us about the things that you think really, really help people so they can sit down and go, okay, this is what I need to do in my business to turn over a better profit. How would you advise people to try and put their, stamp on something and say, okay, I'm going to concentrate on this and this is going to help me make a profit of doing something that I love?
I think the most important part of this is being open-minded about the process and not automatically thinking it's something that they don't understand. They don't know where to start. They don't know what comes in the middle. They don't know where it's going to finish. What they do know is that typically they end up seeing an accountant once a year. They talk about taxes. The accountant uses language or jargon. And people tend to leave that meeting without a clear view of what really happened in the first place. And I think that it's important that we recognise that business owners have so much power in their own hands, and it is not difficult to get to the information that's required. Some of the work that I do with people is very much about helping them with questions, if you like, to go to their accountant with, to ask the things, so that they don't feel, as so often happens to be the case, unfortunately, with a sort of almost inferiority complex. The reality about what it takes to make a profit in business, in these 3 profit levers that I alluded to earlier on, there are these 3 things. The first one is sales. Without sales, you have nothing. And that is one part that is absolutely undeniable. And as much as I said earlier on, it turns me greatly the emphasis that is put solely on revenue. It is absolutely essential that you do have revenue going through your business. The second part of this is margin. Now, against the sale, there are often what we call cost of goods. So in the online space, a typical example for that would be someone selling a digital program. They will run Facebook ads for that typically. They will possibly employ a copywriter to write a sales page for them. Those costs would be what we call cost of goods sold. They go directly against the sale. That gives us a margin, and that piece is very important, because if we can get that piece right, that really will drive everything. After that, we have our expenses or overheads within the business, which easiest to describe, I would say, in brick and mortar world, think of it as being rent or telephone costs, those sorts of things, insurances and so on for a business. So they're the only 3 things: subject and overhead. And if we understand that, then that really is all it boils down to. That gives us the starting point by which to look at what we're actually doing from a performance point of view. So with all of my clients, it's basically where we start. I'm not interested in detail. I want to establish an understanding of what those 3 numbers look like now, because that's the place that we build from. And what we end up doing is then focusing on each one, and we create separate strategies for the sales piece, the margin piece, and the overhead piece. And then we basically end up creating tactical actions that then feed off each of those strategies. And those strategies and tactics will be different for an online business or a brick and mortar business. But I think it really comes back to those 3 words. And as I say, spend a lot of time sitting with accountants or dreading the accountant meetings. At the end of the day, that's really all that there is to it. But people think and expect that there will be so much more complexity surrounding it.
I think what's really interesting, which really spoke to me just then, is when you said, okay, you sit down with with your clients and say, okay, this is where we're at. Give me your 3 numbers. Yes, I realise there's details behind the numbers, but let's just look at the black and white of this. What are your sales? What are your margins? What's your overhead? And let's go from there. And when you say you plan each section to succeed, almost like the 3 things are going up to the one big thing at the end, which is the profit. And I think that stops the overwhelm, because, we talk about running a business, and there's the overwhelm of having so many things to do and loving what you do. And, we don't want people to do this wonderful career that they love, and then they're just thinking about, I need to make more profit. I need to make more profit. It doesn't want to show up with your clients. You don't want to show up with stress because you're not reaching that profit that you want to reach, and you're not getting there. But I love how you're breaking it down, because I think it probably creates less stress for your clients as well, that go, okay, Jason's put this into 3 things now. I need to think about the sales and what I'm going to do towards that. Okay, what have I paid out on this? Okay, there's my overhead. I really want to make this profit. So when people have got an entrepreneurial mindset, how do they think differently to, say, someone that hasn't, that's laid back and isn't really driven in that area of things? What would you say is the difference of an entrepreneur mind?
I think that the entrepreneurial mindset, it comes back to this ability to act and react fast. And consequently, there is a perennial chase for sales. And naturally so. I totally understand that. And the reality is, it is about being confident that you have a framework that you can go back to. And the missing part, I think, in most entrepreneurial worlds is they don't actually have a framework by which to be intentional about the profit that they make. What basically happens is they trade, they sell things, they buy some things, Facebook ads, copywriting, whatever it might be. And then you get to this point at the end of the year where they're presented with an answer to the question, as it were. And they don't actually, in reality, quite often know whether they're in the black or in the red. It seems to just be luck. And consequently, we end up in a place where we run our businesses from our bank account. we don't recognise the things which are coming over